All right. Welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast, where we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank, without breaking your bank. Dave Braun, and I'm here with my partner, my buddy in crime here, Larry Broughton. Hey, Larry.
Crime. Yes, that's my life. How are you, David?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. What a great week it's been.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a little bit cold here in Southern California.
Yeah, what is up with that? And the rain and the wind?
I don't know.
Just like they call it weather. Have you heard of that?
I don't know. If you're listening to us from Minnesota or wherever,
Buffalo,
I'm sure you hate us.
Yeah.
All right.
What's our question this week, David?
So great question here we got is, whom should I hire? Someone who has more skills but doesn't perfectly fit what I'm looking for, or someone who specializes in a certain skill and can do it perfectly, right? So someone who has more skills, maybe more of a generalist, or someone who might specialize in something as more of a specialist. What do you
I took it a different way when I first saw this question. And I would put it this way: you shouldn't be hiring based on just a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Agree.
You got to be hiring a variety of different areas, right? Like, what's their personality like? Do they get along with people? Are they a good communicator? Do they share the same core values as you and your organization? Those are more important, frankly, in the long run than even the ability to do a specific skill. If they have an aptitude to do the skill, it's your job as a leader to make sure that they get the training to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you got to look at it this way as well. Are they on the upside of their learning curve? Are they plateaued with their learning curve, or are they on the downhill side of life? And I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about mentality and the willingness to learn. Right? Years ago, I had made the classic mistake of hiring a person in our organization who was a friggin' rock star when it came to the numbers part of the job. Because I believe that there's the arts part of a job and the science part of the job, right? The science she nailed clearly in the organization of about 15 hotels at the time. Her guest satisfaction scores were always the highest. Her, what we call RevPAR index, our RGI, like our how do we perform against our competitive set, was always the best. Her flow through was always the best. I mean, she killed it. But guess what? She was hated among our other team members. Yeesh. None of the general managers liked her. They didn't trust her. They felt she was condescending. And I spent more time managing that darn relationship than I did the business, right? Smoothing out the ruffled feathers. It wasn't worth it in the long run, you know? So you got to look at it more as like, how good are they at this specific skill? Particularly as you grow your organization, the camaraderie that your team members have is pretty vitally important as well, right? So I guess my response to this, Dave, is don't be hiring somebody just for their ability to do a particular skill. Right? If you don't enjoy having them in the organization, if they're not going to be an asset to the entire organization, like as a whole, it's not worth it, is it? To me, I mean, I used to dread, some of the meetings that I would have when she was going to be in it, because I just knew there was going to be conflict, right? And I found myself making excuses, like why she was in the organization. And I remember when David, like we go back and we share our core values with the organization every year, right? Is this really who we say we are? And then when I was reading through it, getting ready for that leadership summit, and I was reading through those, she kept coming to mind as like, I'm not living with integrity on this. My core values aren't reflected in who she is, right? And so I ended up letting her go before the leadership summit, because I know there are some general managers who are going to call me out on it because I'd given them permission to call me out on it, right? So thank goodness she didn't make it a year, but in the organization, but she made it longer than she should have, for sure.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting question because I think we can answer it in multiple ways, like you were
Yes.
mentioning. I mean, so there's the skill aspect of it. Let's set that to the side, right? And then there's the fit within the organization that's independent of the skills, right?
Right.
So when we say doesn't perfectly fit what I'm looking for, they need to be pretty close to being perfectly fit within, like you said, the core values, the
Sure.
organization, the way they communicate, right?
Sure.
All that stuff. They need to be pretty perfect, right?
Sure.
But then when you start thinking, okay, from the skill perspective, is it, maybe, you need, you need to have an expert in social media, but the person you start hiring is
Yeah.
they've dabbled in it, but then they've also done email marketing. Well, then they've also done
Sure.
site management, or they've also done data research and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there, where you're comparing the skills, that's where, I mean, so you don't compromise on the fit within, the core values and the personality and all that,
Yeah.
but then, okay, how do you handle the skill part?
Mm.
Right. And I think that ends up being, I think it's going to always depend. Right. And kind of the way that I look at it is that, if we have different doctors in our lives, right, we have different people. I've got a family physician, more of a general practitioner,
Mm-hmm.
who's really good at a lot of stuff. But when it comes to me needing, like I had to have, remember when I had to have some surgery on my neck to fuse a disc, couple discs. Remember
You
that?
sounded like Batman. Yes,
Oh
I
yeah,
remember
remember that was a few years ago. I
that.
was in so much pain,
Yes. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
I needed a specialist to do that. My
Mm-hmm.
general practitioner, he couldn't do that
Right.
at that particular time. So I think it depends upon what are you hiring for. If you're doing your first hire as like a solopreneur making the transition, you may
Mm-hmm.
want to get a little bit more generalized. But then as you round out and build your team, you'll need a few more specifics.
One of the things, Dave, I think that what we can do and what these folks can do is listen to what we talk about in both the prepare and the hire section, and that is to bring people on doing project-based stuff first.
Yeah, see how they work.
Try them out. How do you folks get along with each other, right? How do they get along with the rest of the team if you have other team members? There's no reason why you can't do it. Hey, we're going to keep you on for a month. Now,
Yeah.
you may miss out an opportunity to work with a real rock star, because most rock stars are looking for some permanency or at least some kind of predictability. Like, I'm not looking just for project-based stuff. I'm looking for something a little more long-term, but it is an opportunity.
Yes.
Give them a couple of projects. But I'm reminded, Dave, of this acronym that we use oftentimes, Mike or Mick, MIC,
Yeah.
right?
I love that, Larry. I love it.
And so that what I try to do is encourage folks not to hire just for skills, right?
Mhm.
Or experience. When I've surveyed hundreds and hundreds of high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders, and you ask them what are the kind of criteria in which you hire people, experience is usually like number 5, 6, or 7 with people, but the top 3 things generally fall in this order: motivation, integrity, and capacity. Those are things that we really ought to be looking at. Like, imagine if you hired somebody who was really good at skills, but they lacked motivation, right? It was like, like they had the eoritude, right? You want to hire someone who is like, I get to go to work today. I get to get up today. Not like, I've got to go work with Dave today. That's going to suck, right? So motivation first, integrity. We know about integrity, right? Right. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
real strong character thing, right? The problem is that when you hire somebody who's highly motivated that lacks integrity, that's dangerous. That's the stuff that
Mhm.
criminals are made out
Yeah.
of, right? So you want highly motivated, lots of integrity, and then capacity. And by that I mean the capacity to grow. Because my sense is that you're doing that, you're trying to gain more freedom so that you can grow your business.
Mhm.
Well, if they're good for you today and you're doing, let's pick a number, you're doing $100,000 in revenue today, but next year you're going to be doing 500,000, or ultimately you're going to be doing $1 million a year. Good for you. That person better be able to grow with you, or hopefully they'll grow with you, right?
Yeah.
So motivation, integrity, and capacity are other things I think to consider besides just how many keys can you punch on a keyboard in a minute.
Yeah, because your business is going to morph over time. It's going to
Of
change,
course it is. Yes.
right? You
Yes.
know, that you think about just social media, for example.
Mhm.
How many jobs, how many companies were there around social media, 10 years ago?
Mm.
Not too many, right?
Yeah.
So
Dime a
things
dozen
change.
now. Yeah.
Yep. And we have to morph along with the environment. Just
For
in
sure.
in the last year, being able to manage virtually and do work virtually.
Yeah.
That's a requirement now. It wasn't a year ago.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
you've got to have that capacity, ability to morph and change and to grow and bring up your
Mhm.
skills over time because so many things change
Yeah.
over time.
That's right. Yes. That's good.
Okay. Anything else,
Yeah.
sir?
No, I think we got it. And just remind people that if we didn't nail it like we think we do, because we think we're awesome,
Yeah.
then go to the community. That was a good chuckle, right? Darn,
Oh
we're
my
awesome.
God.
But if we didn't nail this, then go to the community forum or make a comment here where you find this video and ask us a question about it. Ask us to clarify. That community forum is so darn powerful. Or jump on these
Yeah.
calls that we have, every couple of weeks. As part of the tribe, you get an email that says, hey, don't forget to sign up. Make RSVP for your spot in this upcoming call, and we can address it there as well. But again, if you want some additional coaching or mentoring, we're around to do that for you as well. But please participate. This program is only as good as the effort that you put into it.
Agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the way it is with just about everything in life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for being with us today, listening. But remember, building a team is the way to reclaim your freedom. And we're here to help you. Larry and I love helping folks. We're helping a lot of people in HireMyVA.com right now. But what we want you to do is these three things. Number one, subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done so. We'd really, really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, give us a rating, preferably 5-star, of course. And then number three, go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course and our amazing community. Because remember, even without any experience, you'll learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with virtual assistants. We're helping people in there. We'd love to help you too. So guys and girls and everybody else, just go to HireMyVA.com for more information.
I have got the giggles. I've been fighting this for the last Anyway, my friends, do yourself a favor. do the world a favor and go do something significant today. All right. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. All right. Go do something significant and go get them.
All right. Absolutely. Bye, folks.
I'll see ya.